My, if this isn't a sight to behold at like 7 in the morning. Hi, how are you? I hope you've been well. If you've been here for a while, do you remember a video that I did where I wrapped my hair around my bathrobe towel thing? It's not even a bathrobe, it's just a keep me warm robe. And I wrapped my hair around it, and it didn't turn out the way that I thought it was supposed to turn out, so I'm doing it again. And if it doesn't work this time, I'm gonna try it only once more. This has to work. It works for everyone else. This time I parted it and I brushed it before I decided to wrap it and coil it and make it a mess. Next time I'll do a different wrapping method, so stay tuned for that. Listen, I want curly hair, but I also can't do it, so we're doing it this way. If you've never been here before, my name is Eleanna. I'm a makeup artist. I talk about makeup and skincare. I also talk about body painting. I'll eventually get to special effects, and today we're incorporating weird hair techniques that may or may not work. The makeup look that I'm gonna do today is for a bachelorette party that I'm going to next weekend. Listen, I'm gonna put on my primer while I tell you this, or else this video is gonna go for too long. I'm using the MERCIER Pure Canvas Primer. Looks like this. It's really cool. It's for oily skin, it dries matte, and it is silicone free. So anyway, what normally happens is I get all excited about an event and I try to match my makeup to my outfit. I did so when I went to this wedding last year, and I had like a olive green dress and I tried to do green makeup. What ended up happening is on the day I wore very neutral makeup and lashes, and it was great because the focus was on the dress, the hair, and also nobody cares about my makeup. I wasn't the bride. But yeah, so I fall into this trap where I see an outfit and I get excited and I want to sync up my makeup to this outfit. But I like minimalist makeup. I like makeup that's very neutral. I like makeup that's, for lack of a better word, boring. You know, there's only so much neutral makeup that you can do on a channel where you're supposed to inspire creativity. So I'm gonna try and find a middle ground today between makeup that I probably will wear on an occasion and makeup that will match the dress that I have picked out. The issue is the more inspired that I get by an item of clothing or a color or a concept, the more I want to do. But how often do we go out in makeup that's extravagant and bold and everything? And how often do we go out in what we feel comfortable in because we know we look good in it? So I'm stuck between those two, like, opposites here. I lit a candle before and my room smells like caramel. It's so nice. I'm going in with my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I've been going in with this for the last few videos. This is my for now foundation. And it's worked well for me, like, through the summer. I have oily skin. And in combination with my skincare, this foundation has been pretty sick. So normally when I go to events, I don't really do my makeup too differently to when I do it every day. I don't like to wear too much of a product. Because of the oily skin, I feel like too much product is detrimental to the way that I'm going to look in a few hours anyway. So my application stays pretty much the same. But I know that the more product I add, the more risk I have of getting oily. So because I found a good balance of decent coverage and no oil, I just kind of go with that. I feel like I've forgotten something. So if you're somebody that likes wearing, like, do you remember when the big triangle of concealer was in? If you're somebody that likes doing that, you do you. I mean, it might suit your skin type, it might suit your face type, it doesn't suit mine. But that just means that unfortunately I've got nothing new for you in terms of event makeup. Does anybody else have that problem where you want to do something really cool when you go out, but you end up just doing what you know because you're good at it? Okay, so because I have a little more redness today because I woke up at 5 o'clock and then I woke up again at 6. So my face today is a little puffy, it's a little red, I've got a little more spots. I'm using my Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder in Double Blur to set everything. And I've said it before, this powder you don't have to use too much of. Most powders you don't have to use too much of. It does a good job of not only doing exactly what it says it does, like it does blur. You don't use much of it, it does stay all day, and again, for oily skin, it is really ideal. It doesn't end up looking cakey, it doesn't end up looking oily and muddy. you're good. Like, you're set all day, and I love it. And if you haven't seen many of my videos before, I typically tend to blot on the T-zone, pushing the product in where it needs to go. And then for the rest of the face, because it doesn't really get oily, I dust some product on in like circular motions. My bronzer is the NARS Laguna bronzer in matte. Oh, my hair is getting everywhere. The NARS Laguna bronzer in matte. And I am contemplating not finishing this product before I buy the next one, because this one, it lasts ages. I bought this months and months ago and it lasts forever. But I've mentioned it in my other videos. There's this bronzer by Charlotte Tilbury that I want to try. I wore it to a wedding. The makeup artist that did our makeup for this wedding, she used it and I liked it a lot. It looked a lot more natural on my skin. This one's starting to look very orange. I lightly dust some bronzer up here. I probably shouldn't because of the shape of my head, but I think I'm just used to doing it now. With a brush with no product on it, I buff that out to make sure that it is a lot softer on my face so there are no harsh lines and no harsh patterns. And I sort of bring it up into the cheekbone. I should stop doing this because it's just better if you accent the dip, but I've brought it up the whole way because I am extra pale. And I just buff out any product that I have added. Not really strategically, just so there's no harsh lines. And with a fluffy brush and the same bronzer, I go into a light contour. I say light contour because I don't really reshape my nose. I just sort of accent it. And a little dusting under the lip, which makes it look like it's curling over and makes it look a little buffer. My blush is by NARS as well. It's the Dolce Vita. And I'm slowly getting more comfortable with wearing blushes. But I put them from the apple of the cheek up into the cheekbone. Because if I put it on the cheek, I look kind of scary. Normally I go in with that brush from before and I buff this out as well, but since I'm using my blush brush to buff my blush into my bronzer, I'm going to leave it for today. And I'm going to move on to eyebrows. Now, I say this in every video, I don't have much of a brow routine. I just use the Benefit Gimme Brow Volumizing gel because I have eyebrows. So it's kind of counterproductive to spend a whole lot of time doing my eyebrows when I can just brush them into place. And that's eyebrows. For eyes, my dress, I have to actually return it because I got it too big, but it's more of a... It's called bronze. It's got like gold, rose gold, bronze on it. And I have those colors here. I know myself. I know that I'm going to do a basic eye, a nude lip, because also I'm not the bride being celebrated. So what am I going to do with my makeup that's, you know what I mean? So what I'm thinking, I'm going to do accents of gold and bronze and stuff with the products that I have, but I don't want it to like overpower the dress, overpower anything. I already have pretty bold hair. The dress, again, gold and sequiny, and I want this channel to be more about, like, as much as I love the creative side of makeup, I want it to be how to feel comfortable, how to go out feeling comfortable, and I feel comfortable in more neutral makeup. So as much as I can talk about and teach and fangirl over colorful, sparkly, extravagant makeup, realistically, that's not what I'm going to be wearing. And I think if that's something that I want to promote, being comfortable in your skin, I need to kind of proactively do that, you know? So I'm gonna use the Too Faced Born This Way The Natural Nudes palette. And also in the Urban Decay Naked palette. Half Baked, man. Half Baked has to be my favorite shadow of all time. So, I'm taking a super duper fluffy brush by Zoeva. And I'm going to go into Swan, which is this color here. I've already hit pan on it. I use it so much. I love this color so much because it just opens my eye. I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush because I usually bring this all up. Like from that inner corner, I bring it out and I dust it. It's not really neat. It's just to get that whole layer across. So yeah, it don't really matter to me how much product I put. Sometimes I just put it on the inner corner. Sometimes I pull it out the whole entire way. It's a very light shadow. And because I have very light skin, it doesn't really, like, you can't really see it until I add the darker products. With a pencil brush, I'm going to use Truffle. This is my go-to color for the outer corner of the eye. So what I do with this, I blot in a shape that sort of looks like a V on that outer V. And I do it, this is usually bigger than I go, but we're going out. So, whoppa! So with a fluffy brush, with no product on it, I'm then going to encircle immersions and close to the actual application of the color, buff out that color so it's not so harsh. Once that's done, just see how I've made it a little softer. Once that's done and the initial product has been buffed out, so there's no risk of fallout, do the same thing to the part of the application that's closer to the eyelid. And in swipey motions now, try to bring it up. This particular palette, the pigmentation of these shadows is very bold, so the effort that it takes to blend something out is more than any of the Urban Decay palettes or the Melt Cosmetics palette. This palette is a little tougher to blend out. It does take a lot more time, which requires quite a bit more patience, but the end results are very nice. I've gotten more of a soft look from them because I just spend more time buffing them. And with any residue, I guess, that's already on the brush from that, I bring it underneath just to join it up together. I'll fix everything later, but this is just to evenly spread out the product so I know where I'm going later, and we don't like harsh lines. Okay, so here, where there are harsh lines, I do try to swipey motion it out. And I do go back in later. So I'll do what I have to do, and then I'll go back in later. I might use Nude. I tend to go in with Nude to even everything out at the end, so there's nothing patchy. But for the most part, it's a matter of going back in, blending it out, going back in, blending it out, especially if you want a more natural shadow to kind of flow with your eye shape. You're gonna have to do a lot of back and forth with this one. I just added a little more product without actually going into the product itself, just whatever was left on the brush, into that inner V, and in circular motions buffing that out onto the eyelid as opposed to out. I do take it up to the brow. You can't see it yet because I'm not done, but I do tend to take it pretty high up onto the brow because when I open my eyes, it's gone. So it needs that bit of a kick. For now, we're going to leave it there, and I'll go back in later and extend it and everything before I do my liner. For the center of the eye, to blend everything together, I'm going to take the same fluffy brush that I just used to blend all of that out, and I'm going to tap into the color Nude. And I'm going to press into mainly on the lid to blend the two colors together, and then bring whatever excess up onto that higher part of the lid, just to, yeah, give it a more whole look. Again, with no extra product, I'm taking it above the other shadow I did to buff it, blend it, extend it, whatever. Just with the excess product. I'm not adding any extra product here. So I'm just back in with my Zoeva brush and that color Swan, adding a little bit of that lightness to the eye to open it up a bit more because the dusting of the other shadows made it a little darker. Now, I'm going to go in with liner. I'm going to make my liner bigger than usual because, again, it is an event. We're going to be in photos. Typically, when you're in photos, when you do your normal everyday makeup, it doesn't show up in photos. So you kind of have to go a little overboard with it. So I'm going to try to do that quickly. So with my KVD tattoo liner in Trooper, I'll have to find a way to do an eyeliner video where you can actually see what I'm doing because I can't talk and do it at the same time. Focus. Okay. Normally, I stop my eyeliner about halfway through the eye and I bring it up to the edges because that's how you are able to see it. But because I'm going to wear lashes, I might have to bring it into the inner corner. I'm going to avoid it for now and just add it later if I have to. But that's usually how I do my liner. Now, my Aqua Resist color pencil is almost finished. But today I'm only going to apply this to the upper inner lash line. Maybe. I might change my mind in a second. Hang on. Under the eye, I have two options. One of them is, do you remember when I used Scattered Light Glitter Eyeshadow by Hourglass, this guy. And it was really cool. And I almost went in today just with this. I'm going to wet my brush. Which brush? Alright, I'm going to take my typical brush that I do highlight with, like inner corner highlight and upper brow highlight. And I've run out of my Mario Badescu Rosewater. So I'm going to use my setting spray, just to spritz this brush a little bit and go into Half Baked, that gold color that I've shown like 4 times. Alright, I feel like under any right light, that's going to do well. With that same brush, I'm going to go into that Hourglass shadow. We established in that last video that this shadow works best with fingers, but I'm not about to put my finger or lick because it's not going to look nice. I've just added a little on the edges here, so there is a bit of a duochrome element to it, but not so much. I'm going to use a small angled brush and that color Truffle from before, that dark brown that I went in and did every other thing with. Because what I do usually, I try to connect that bottom lash line with my bottom lash line because it's just the shape of the liner and it suits the style. And with my Makeup Forever Color Resist pencil, where I've applied the dark shadow, but just on the waterline. Okay, so for lashes. I was gonna say, if I don't find my lash glue, I'm gonna be really upset. Okay, my lashes are still the Wispies. They're my favorite ones. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. These lashes are old. I keep forgetting to buy them. Alright, I'm still using the Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara because it's got stuff in it and I cannot be bothered getting the other one just yet because it just feels like a waste. So I definitely load it on that bottom lash line. And I use it on the top just to blend my lashes in with these lashes so the base looks real dark. I always feel incomplete when that bottom lash line isn't dark. So I'm going to use my angled brush again and that color Truffle, this color. I just touched like 4 different shadows doing that, ew. And I have to accent that outer part of my eye because or else it's not the same. I'm going to go in with 2 liquid lips here. Stila All Day Liquid Lipstick in Caramello and my Melted Matte Liquid Lip by Too Faced in Holy Chic. What I want to try is like a sort of lip contouring, but without any liner. So the darker one is the Stila one on the outside of the lip. And then with the melted one, Holy Chic, feel in the center. If you're like me and have dry lips, it's incredibly important to moisturize. Because liquid lips, they're not our friends, but we like them. And we try to get them to like us too, so we compromise with a lip balm or something. I'm going to zoom back out here because we're getting kind of scary. Alright, using my setting spray. Alright, so that's now mostly dry. Going in with my Laura Mercier setting powder again. On top of everything. Let's be real. So because setting sprays work as a glue, I've always wondered as well why people do setting sprays last and just leave it. It's a glue. It makes more sense to put it on top of your primer, to glue your foundation to your face while your primer protects it from entering your pores. But I'm used to doing it this way now, so it stays this way for now. But just to make sure everything stays on top, I do go over the top with the powder. Moment of truth. I don't know if I want to do this on camera. Just a little disclaimer. I may not like this. Let's take this out. I only put this scarf in so I could sleep. I've got thick hair. So the scarf was just to protect it from coming undone. The scrunchie tied the 2 different bits together and each bit was tied with its own hair tie. Okay. I do need a hair oil as well. I might get one of those next week. Because it weighs down the hair and also it makes the dead ends look not so dead. Okay, so the good news is it worked. The wild news, which I don't quite know if it's bad yet, it's very puffy, right? Holy shit. How How does it look like from the back? You tell me. Okay, so I'm much more impressed than last time. This is sick. Alright, so it turns out that parting your hair works. Because last time I think I was just grabbing bits and pieces from everywhere and it didn't really like feel good. Everything was pooling. It was a mess by the morning. I didn't put the scarf in last time. Am I proud of me? It worked! And it's a lot less scarier than last time because I actually did it properly. Sick. Okay, so this is the final look. Again, it's nothing extravagant or extraordinary. I'm more comfortable wearing makeup like this. And since I'll be going out, you know, and not just sitting here in front of a camera doing makeup, it is important to feel comfortable as yourself, you know, when you go out. So I think I'm going to stick with something like this. I might even go bolder with the gold, just because usually the hype of going out for an event makes me want to hype up some of my product. I might put a little bit of glitter on my lip. I hope you enjoyed this look, regardless if it is a little bit basic. I hope that I come across well when I say be comfortable. Be comfortable in what you wear. Be comfortable in how you apply your makeup. You don't have to follow trends just because they're trends. Do what makes you feel good. But I will go into more in-depth different eye looks, how they help different eye shapes, what they do, what they're called, how to do them. I think that could be a very interesting video. And the hair thing worked. Whoa! But yeah, I hope this video was informative in one way or another. I hope you're able to learn something and I hope you enjoyed. I don't normally do this in my videos, like plug my social media, but I'm gonna for today. I usually put my Pinterest and my Instagram down below. So if you want to follow me on Instagram or on Pinterest, my tag is Eleanna. I've got both of it written below. I hope to see you there. I post a lot of weird stuff on Instagram. If you liked this video, please leave it a like. And if you'd like to see more or are interested in the eyeshadow idea, consider subscribing. Enjoy the rest of your week and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!